everyone, welcome everybody to Chron Reviews. I am back again, and this time, finally, after awaiting pushed up releases, here is ActSta Fate Testarossa from the Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha, the movie first. And this box, compared to the other three, I think is a little bit more attractive because I like this layout with this grey and darker grey and the yellow. It fits Fate Testarossa quite good. So here are the figure. Poses on the side. Lots of poses on the back. And on the side. And on the top. Right, the inside of the box is double layered, just like with other ActSta. Here is the base and hands and extra part for her magical device. There's also the figure itself and the main parts of the device, bardish and extra faces and stuff. There's an instruction manual, which I hardly use because it's not that complicated. And the box inside have a nice yellowish toned silver layer, and also the license sticker is here. I forgot to show earlier. I must say the figure so far looks brilliant. Just like the Nanoha one, this might be a really great figure. Alright, Fate Testarossa ActSta action statue, and that's exactly what this is. After checking this out, I must say I'm very amazed. To start off, checking out the sculpture of this figure, it's very smooth, very nicely done, all over. I just love the likeness of the character in this figure. It's such detail, and the paint job is so nicely toned. And the blue of the cape, nicely toned hair, and even the outfit, everything. The parts are so smoothly molded and so smoothly toned exactly everywhere on this figure. I can't see any flaws at all, and that's very high grade if you ask me, because there's always slight flaws, and there probably are some somewhere if I look extremely carefully, but I can't find any right now. The articulation on the figure is of course the head and ball jointed ponytails. The cape is jointed that it can be angled like this, it can flow out like this, and it can hang down like this, and she stands pretty well even with the cape, and you saw that too. There's also this part that's ball jointed as well, that can flow out like this. The skirt is made in rubber, so it will bend when you pose her. The torso is on a ball joint, and the legs midsection are also jointed as well. The arms are on ball joints. A little bit limited when the cape's on and the hand fell off, and they are on ball joints as well. And elbow joint here. The legs are ball jointed, knee joint, ball jointed feet, and toe joints, so you can actually pose her in a running pose and everything a little bit better than the average Figma. You can also, of course, remove the cape like this, and it's connected using this peg that's stuck into this hole with this part and into her back, which is of course that hole in the back, and that's for the stand. But that, I think that fits the stand as well. So now I can see the full movement of the arms. You can move up and sideways and forwards. So she have even less limited movement without the cape, of course. She stands very good on her own. and of course with the cape she can also stand. The joints on this figure is nice and tight and are no problems at all, so I think this will be a great figure to pose. First off, the base, that's with every ActSta comes with the character's unique color of her magical seal. So this is yellow and it matches the figure very nice. And also there is the stand, the rod itself. And on this one, unlike Nanoha, they are back to the more Figma style one, which I actually prefer. And this one is tight and nice, so probably I can make aerial poses without problem this time. And this one is also a little bit smaller. I think this is actually Figma size. Maybe because Fate are much shorter than Tiana and Subaru. There's also this one if you want to grab her instead of using a peg. And also this extension for some angles and poses. And there is also, of course, extra hands. There are fists. There are more spread out hands. And there are those hands for holding a device. And there's also the extra faces, which is this one with slightly open mouth. It's a little bit different from the other, but it's still a serious face like the other. And this one is for when she summons Bardiche and closes her eyes, or summons an attack or something. And there's also this round shield, which is, compared to Nanoha, there are just this round shield instead of all this lot of magical rings and stuff. And to use this, you put it on this one, slide it into like this, and then this ball joint are put into this part, and this part in itself are connected to the base in one of those slots. So it's like this, and you can pose the round shield as you wish to be used accordingly to her hand, which she used to summon it. And here's also a shorter rod if you want a lower position of the shield. And now to the most special part, which is of course no surprise, her device, Bardiche, which is the coolest device in the Nanoha series in my opinion. Maybe because I like the color combination with flashy yellow effects, and also the dark color of it, and I like the design as well. And it can be separated here to slide into her hands. And this part is also clear, so the light flowing through it, and that's very nice as well. And there's also in her sight form or Haken form. And I think this is very nice. The nice tone effect here is so much high quality compared to Figma's, and also like the other ActSta, but I think this one looks more high quality actually. I really like this, and it's no paint slipping out anywhere. This is just so nice, and this can also be separated for sliding into her hands, of course. And finally, it is Bardiche in its shooting form to make photon lancers and all the other attack. I can't remember the name right now. It's like this, and you have to connect it to this part, like this. And there's also a rod itself. I like how they included one rod for each of the device's modes, even though this one is the same length. They could just have included one, but it's nice that I can have actually the device on display if I want to, and that's a really nice thing. Now on accessories, this figure had a little bit less than Nanoha because Nanoha had all those extra rings and stuff. However, Nanoha have much less modes on her device, so actually Fate make it up in modes of her device instead. And it's still quite a lot of accessories, and it is actually what you need. Maybe it could be nice to have this Sunburn mode, sword, but she didn't use it in the movie, so it's understandable that this figure didn't include it, even though it would be nice. Alright, Fate Testarossa posed up on her base, which is just lovely. I just love this figure. It was a dream to pose. Very nice joints, they worked perfectly, tight and nice, and they worked smooth, no problems at all, and it is pretty much flawless, this figure. The device, Bardiche, fit perfectly into her hands, and it's just great. This figure was like a dream to pose, and this more Figma style rod to pose, the stand, was much better than the round one included with Nanoha. And speaking of Nanoha, the reason I posed her up in her shooting mode to use her photon lancer attack is because I wanted her to match the pose I gave Nanoha, so both can stand like this on my shelf. And those being both 1:8 scale fit each other perfectly. Fate is a slight bit taller, but that's just correct to how she are in the series. And yeah, I really love both of those figures, but I must say, not only because Fate is my favorite character, but also because Fate, the figure is actually a little bit better than the Nanoha one and the other ActStas, because this was pretty much flawless. And well, let's look how they look together with the other two ActSta on the shelf. Alright, there she is, Fate Testarossa posed up together with the other ActSta figures. So now this is the complete ActSta line as it is so far, and that's those 4 figures from Nanoha, Strikers and the movie. And Fate Testarossa looks great together with Nanoha, and those two from the movie, both title characters, they just look great. And here you can also see how they look when I have the light on my shelf here on when it's dark. So this is kind of the display I have when the sun goes down. Well, I think it looks quite nice. So as a conclusion for this figure, it's that I loved it. This figure have a nice base in her own customized color. It have a nice stand and it's not loose as it was for some of the other ActSta. The effect on the device parts that's clear is just so nicely toned and transparently in such high quality way. That's just amazing. The device have smooth parts and they can easily fit into her hands. Fits most perfectly, unlike the Nanoha one, which had a little bit problems that it's the color worn off on the device because the stuff itself was white and her black gloves, it made a little bit of coloring on the stuff, and that's a little bit sad, but well. And the paint job and the toning on this figure is just flawless. I can't find anywhere on the figure where there's excess paint going on to the other paint. The parts are just so nicely toned, and the joints work so smooth and so tight and nice. I can't just express in words how much I love this figure. It's just perfect. The best figure I got so far, actually, and I really love it, and it's well worth it. Take a little look on it again. It's just such a nice figure. Take a one turn. How nicely the cape is toned. Well, the only thing I have to say is, if you can afford this, buy her now. And she's also running out of stock everywhere, so go for it. You will not regret it if you're a Fate Testarossa fan, or a Nanoha fan, or a fan of the ActSta or Figma line. This is the perfect ActSta. Enjoy it and take care. Sayonara!